Massive spoilers for the Hasunosora movie. Due to the unique nature of how this movie was released, I'm gonna be limiting footage to the ones we've seen via the trailers and also the shorts. This is a movie that if you're able to financially support, such as being in Japan, you definitely should. This review is just to explain my thoughts on the movie and the Hasunosora series in general. With that being said, let's get into it. This is probably one of the last few times I'll say this, but Hasunosora is Love Life's most unique group. Screw it, let's just get into it. The Hasunosora movie has just released less than a week ago, serving as not only a graduation to the 103rd gang, not only as a prequel to the eventual 106 anime in 2027, but also as an introduction to Hasunosora for new fans to jump in. So should you jump in? No. Okay, I'm playing, but it definitely is ambitious to say the least, coming from a group that's made its home on a mobile app that's discontinuing. They have a lot of goals to achieve, and while I don't think they succeed in all fronts, it's still an amazing movie. Hasu has been one of those projects that if you missed it, you missed it, and this movie genuinely cements that while creating a new story, one that's able to be followed from the start. Firstly, just a little context, I'm not the biggest Hasunosora fan. While I have been following for a while and have been caught up to the 105th term, there's like 8 or so episodes I have not watched yet, plus I haven't watched many live streams or WIFX meets. For any other group, that's like whatever man, but for a case like Hasunosora, that is part of the story, so take my words and thoughts with a grain of salt. I wasn't there for all that. But I was there for a large chunk to watch the movie and understand most of the past events. I mean, there was a reason I made 3 videos in the series. Hasunosora is a really good series, with its biggest praise and flaw being that it's time-based, which is a partial reason as to why I want to get this video out as soon as possible. If I didn't, it would be months later, and at that point, stuff would probably happen that would make this video outdated in some way, shape, or form, even though time has stopped for Hasunosora. Firstly, as a graduation to the 103rd gang, it's perfect. This movie is a celebration of everything Hasunosora, and its fan service levels are insane. I'm not talking about just ships. The fact we get to see locations rendered in 3D and in high quality 2D drawings is amazing. No more Fire Emblem free house support conversations, we have actual environments that utilize a good camera. That enough is to feel redeemed for the past 3 years that we've been following these characters. The best part about this movie is when the legacy characters talk to each other. There's a genuine sense of connection that is seen and understood by those who know the journey that they all went through. Stuff like Sayaka and Suzuri fully reuniting is something that means so much to me and many others. It's just a barrage of memories, and it's actually justified since in lore, it's the final day the 103rd gang is going to be alive. It's supposed to be celebratory, it's supposed to be full reminiscing, which is why the exposition in this movie works really well. Of course it makes sense for these characters to sit down and remember how they all started, how they got to the point they're at now. We again started with them, and at the end of this movie, we end with them, leading to the next generation of idols. And that leads to the next goal of the movie, being a prequel to the next generation. It's already been established that the anime is going to be focusing on the 106 term. It won't be an alternate universe, it's going to be a sequel. And this movie's job is to ensure that transition goes as smoothly as possible. Aoi and Micah are our partial protagonists for the movie, and also might as well be stand-ins for new Hasu fans. These two initially just serve as the audience surrogate because I'll be honest, I did not vibe with these two at the start. There's this level of legitimate glazing towards the Hasunosora cast, and obviously as someone who watched Hasunosora, I get it. But it's like, I don't need to be told that they're cool, I watch them be cool. But from the perspective of getting new people into the series, it makes sense. But genuinely at the start, it's like, this is Blaine character, this is their defining trait. Wow, Aoi, you're really into this. I don't want to be a part of this until I do. That beginning part gave off too much Yo Watanabe's cousin, the Sunshine movie vibes that I wasn't really down for, but it does get way better as the movie goes along. After the first third of the movie, this is where the movie shines the most and is where the wonder of Love Life really comes into play. Wonder is a very broad term, but when it comes to Love Life, I can only describe it as something special. It's the feeling that you can be something more, and the physical term that's always been associated with that is school idol. In series that have wonder in them, the result is usually seeing characters go through that journey and discover how they can be something more. But in the special case of Hasunosora, specifically the movie, we get to see these characters when they've already become something more. The dynamics they have, the conversations they have, all of it is after they find their wonder, after they become the people they want to be. It makes every moment so much more impactful when you know what they've been through. Every character's words to Micah when she asks how a school idol is important carries weight, it carries history. Micah wants to know if she can change, if she can be something more, and when Kaho says she can, you know she's being real because, well, we saw it, we witnessed it. It's a legitimate passing of the torch that leaves the legacy characters as living proof of the message of the series. This movie will give you FOMO like nothing else if you haven't watched the series. The ending, which I will not spoil, is a love letter that relies on the history of Hasunosora to push the past, present, and future all into one direction to reach farther than they ever could. In a way, non-Hasu fans will feel like Micah, not knowing the entire story, but knowing what came out of it, and what it can potentially mean for her. In a way, this does make it beginner friendly, but at the end it's like, okay, step aside, let the old fans in for this one. And of course, I do have to mention the animation. This is the first fully 3D animated movie of the Love Live series, and my god does it deliver. Sure, it has some errors in some scenes and low budgets in certain parts, but like 90% of it is perfect. The dialogue is animated beautifully, the dances are done extremely well, and when it locks in, it locks in. I'm shocked at the smooth hair and facial animations that can be done without being jarring. Just don't look too deep in the backgrounds, you'll see some NPCs that don't look right. I just got off the high of watching Maigo/Ave Mujika, so the concept of CGI anime is becoming more and more standardized in my mind, and I'm glad series like these show that's possible and it has genuine merit. Wait till my girls band cry video. There is something very special about this movie that really taps into your history of how much you interact with Hasunosora. There's a lot of scenes that linger with the sense of life, like one last look at something, like those montages of like the dead wife in movies. It's in one part just a run-of-the-mill day, but as the day progresses, the reality starts seeping in into what the end result will be. And I am glad Maika and Aoi take a step back from the group so the legacy characters can talk freely with each other. Their exact levels of growth, and the flashback scenes being drawn in full 2D is genuinely the icing on the cake. Obviously, your investment in the Hasunosora these past 3 years dictates how these scenes feel for you. If you were someone who was fully invested, into all the WithX meets, you probably cried your ass out on these scenes. If you didn't watch the series that much, then you'll probably be like, yeah, I get it, unless you're like able to LARP. As for me, I'm in a very unique case. After watching this movie, I actually did a quick reflection on my history of Hasunosora. I've made around 3 videos on this series, and I have definitely grown a lot since those videos. That first Hasunosora video is one of my most poorly written videos I've ever written, and I'd like to think I've improved in terms of writing and also marketing my videos. There's this sense of maturity that flows into the Hasunosora series as time goes by, and little markers like my other Hasu videos kind of make it so that, we were on the same journey. The real-time aspect made this even more apparent. No matter if I wasn't caught up, I'd know that the Hasu gang was going through life and character arcs that would help them become the people they want to be. And with this movie, it's finalized. You get to see them reach the final point before, they all have to fucking die. It's why I've been very hesitant to make Hasunosora videos. It's not that, ooh, they're outdated because it's been a while, it's more so they're outdated because the characters and story have moved past it, and the whole point was experiencing it with them. It doesn't really feel right making a Suzui analysis video when she's already graduated, said her goodbyes, it's already over. For other Love Live characters, they're clearly time frozen in a sense. I don't really feel anything weird when I go and rewatch and analyze the whole series. For Hasunosora, it just feels different. It feels wrong with how the story progresses because when you rewatch it, it's clearly set a certain time period, one that was actively going on and you were meant to experience it as it was going on. Obviously, you can still do it. This isn't me saying you guys fucked up, you can't watch the Link-like episodes anymore. Nah, do what you want. This is just purely my thoughts on the series. One of the biggest regrets I have with my Hasunosora videos is not giving Sachi her own video. Yeah, a character who graduated straight up like 2 years ago, and someone who has little relevance besides a few cameo appearances. She's one of the most important characters to the Hasunosora lore, and someone who does not nearly get the amount of attention that she deserves. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but something only people who watch the 103rd term understand, and with almost all the characters from the term being, well, gone, it doesn't hit the same anymore, It's also a community thing. I've associated Hasu with the inner Love Live community for a while. People like Hoshino, Denzi, Raph, Remuda, Luna, Alex, so many others. They're some of the first people that come to mind when I think of Hasunosora, and when you phrase it like that, the community was one of the best parts. I admittedly didn't do too much for the community, I was just kind of there and waved at people, but something, you had to be there to witness. It's not the biggest deal when you're looking at it logically, but it definitely does feel like the end of a chapter, which of course, makes anyone nostalgic. Anyways, the Hasunosora movie is a must-watch, and it really starts a whole new era for the series. But also, they decided to add Sachi, but not fucking Kawasa Yuka the Otter. That's gonna be a solid 0 out of 10 in my ranking. Also, shouts to Yume Gipsu for alerting me on a 2022 tweet where I initially reacted to Hasunosora being teased. A lot of things can change in 4 years. I guess we really have grown.